Hi, my name is Thomas Johnson, and I'm the founder and CEO of GetUpNGetFit's Wellness and Fitness Coaching Concierge. I'm also a C-suite advisor and investor, and you're listening to How May I Serve You, where I'm constantly on the quest to surround myself with the best coaches while learning how to better serve our executive clientele by asking them, How may I serve you? Today's show is sponsored by Get Up and Get Fit. And Get Up and Get Fit will be providing students with textbooks and school supplies in Cambodia in honor of our guest today, as well as our philanthropic mission to impact at least 50,000 people per year. And today's guest is Mark Schall. Mark, how you doing?
Good, good. How are you, Thomas?
I'm awesome. I'm awesome. So Mark is a certified professional coach dedicated to assisting people in achieving their highest possible level of excellence and effectiveness in their professional and personal lives. He's a recognized expert coach, motivational speaker, and facilitator and educator specializing in human potential and interpersonal communication, and has been an instructor for an accredited coaching training program for over 15 years. Mark, that sounds so great right there. That sounds amazing. So 15 years, man.
Yep, 15 years training coaches to become certified life coaches and executive coaches, and it's been a great ride.
Okay. So I'm gonna dive right into this. So Mark, tell us a little bit about yourself, the 2 minute version. Who are you?
The 2 minute version.
Yeah, I
Wow,
know.
that's a little tough to stuff all those years into 2 minutes. Let's see. So I was born and raised in northern New Jersey.
Okay.
And went to college at State University of New York, SUNY, Stony Brook, out on Long Island, and then went to grad school in Western Pennsylvania at the Indiana University of Pennsylvania, which is not in Indiana, it's in Pennsylvania. Uh, it's actually in the town of Indiana, Pennsylvania, which is where Jimmy Stewart's hometown is.
Oh
So
wow.
a little fame to it. Every restaurant in Indiana, PA has a Jimmy Burger. It's really kind of cute. So I spent 2 years of my life there working on my master's in counseling, counselor education, and student development.
Okay.
And then worked in higher education for 10 years, counseling and advising college students on the out of the classroom life skills. I was a student affairs professional for 10 years. So I was supervising and directing residence halls and residence hall staff for students that live on campus. I left that career, had a brief stint in nonprofit fundraising, which actually led to my coaching career, which I'll get to in a little bit. And then ultimately became a certified executive and life coach. And it's my dream career. It's my passion. It's what I'm born to do.
Okay. All right. That's great. Great share. You did a great job summarizing everything in 2 minutes. I know it's a bit tough for most.
Except I'm in New York City now, and that's where I live and work. I left that part out. I work all over the world, obviously, but I'm based here in New York City.
Got it. So a fellow New Yorker. So
Yes.
why did you get into coaching in the first place, Mark?
You'd have to ask my creator about that, because that's what I was created to do. Whoever or whatever created us, right? Just made that decision for me. And what I mean by that is I really feel it's what I was born to do. I originally thought I wanted to be a psychotherapist. And because I just like the idea of like talking through stuff with people and helping them have insights, and therapy was the thing that did that back then. After an internship at a VA hospital working with Vietnam War vets who suffered from pretty severe post-traumatic stress disorder, I realized I don't want to be a psychotherapist. I wanted to work with people that that were already functioning very, very well, and it was about enhancing what they do. The other work is, of course, very much needed and wonderful work, and it was very rewarding to do. But I knew as a career, let somebody else do that, and that I would be much better off in another realm. But I didn't know what that was because coaching didn't exist yet, and it wasn't until about 20 years ago that I even started hearing about coaching as a profession, and kind of always knew that that's what I wanted to do. That was it as I learned what coaching was. And a friend of mine went to become a certified coach and encouraged me to do the same. And I kind of laughed at him. I was like, oh, is that really a thing? They certify life coaches? And I kind of laughed at him. And then he said, you know what, Mark, I know you better than anybody. This work is you. you need to do this program. And if I know you any better, you'll end up working for them. So I took the program and they invited me to be an instructor of theirs. And that's what I went for the next 15 years. While
Wow.
I was also an instructor of this very same certification program that I graduated from.
That's amazing.
And
Okay.
yeah,
So what is the name of the program?
so it's IPEC coaching.
IPEC coaching. Okay.
Professional excellence in coaching. Yeah.
Got it. And who do you coach, Mark? Because I know various coaches have the preference when it comes to their clientele, right? So who do you coach primarily?
So I coach executives, middle managers, and entry-level managers. So all up the chain there. And that's on the executive and corporate side. And then I also work with coaches mainly in helping them build their businesses and whatnot. Because since I had been an IPEC instructor for 15 years, I'm kind of uniquely suited to teach those skills, enhance skills, help people have the insights that they need to have when coaching their own clients, and helping them build their businesses. So that's the other part of what I do, is helping coaches build their businesses.
There you go. So you coach and you help coaches. That's
Yep.
that's the double, right? The double-edged sword. That's awesome. So I know there are so many different types of coaches and different styles, right? So how do you approach coaching? What's your style of coaching, Mark?
So I have a very my style would be described, and this is what others have told me, as a supportive style. So I'm much
Okay.
more on the supportive side, really handling the inner emotions, the inner world of the client, before moving to the outer stuff, which is, okay, what are the goals? What are we going to do?
Mhm.
And because I think there needs to be a shift on the inside before there's a shift on the outside. The example
Right.
I would give is, if somebody wants to lose weight, I can give them a diet plan to follow on a piece of paper. They don't need to do sessions with me, but it's not going to work, right? Because there's some inner work that needs to happen to connect who they are on the inside with what they're going to do on the outside. Otherwise, the old behaviors come back. So
Exactly.
I spend a lot of time on the inner work to support the outer work, the goal setting, etc. And it's basically the model under which I coach is a consciousness raising model,
Mhm.
where it's really about what's your perspective? What lens do you look at the world through? Do you look at it through I don't have any control over what happens to me, and I just kind of react and respond, and the world is what it is? Or a conflict lens of everything's a challenge and a fight, to higher levels, which become more about making it work, forgiveness, service to others, creating win-wins, and ultimately absolute passion and joy.
It sounds like you have like a behavior science approach to coaching in a way. You're helping to assess their habits and their mindset. And I think that's a great way to approach people, because us as human beings, we are the accumulation of our habits, of our experiences. So I like how you're going deep before you go wide. I like that a lot.
Yep.
So if someone was looking for a coach, what traits would you advise to look for?
Somebody that looks like this. No, the only coach you need. No, I would say really, finding the right coach is like finding the right dance partner. Uh,
Mm, okay.
right? Because you can have two people, they're amazing dancers, well trained at their craft, but there's somebody that they're going to fit with and somebody they might not fit with, right? They could both be great and it just doesn't fit, right?
Mhm.
So I always advise people to, interview more than one coach and just see who you have a vibe with, while also looking for, first of all, somebody who is certified, and most preferably by an ICF accredited institute, an institute that has accreditation from the International Coaching Federation.
Okay.
Uh, and because that way you know that the coach is abiding by a certain code of ethics that you
Mhm.
can go online and read, as well as has met minimum training requirements and has had to demonstrate certain core competencies to be able to practice as a coach.
Yeah.
Um, so I always advise that. And then it's really about looking for somebody who listens well, and you feel like you are all they are interested in when
So full commitment.
yeah, real fully committed, jumped in with 2 feet, and really committed to your success and your support and your agenda.
Okay. Okay. You know what? I love the fact you mentioned your your association having the requirement being look for a coach that's accredited, because there are a lot of folks who are becoming coaches nowadays, right? As a last minute transition. And I'm seeing this every day on LinkedIn, right? There's a new coach every day. On Clubhouse, there's a new coach every day. So having this structure to follow, I think it will help a lot of people to, you know, kind of stay away from the folks who are not as serious and who are just there to pretend for the most part. So yeah. So it's one more time. What's the accreditation?
So the accreditation body is the International Coaching Federation, the IC.
International Coaching Federation. Okay.
Yeah, which you can find at, I think it's coachfederation.org.
Okay.
And you can actually see a list there of all the institutes, all the coach training schools that are accredited by them.
Okay.
There's a coach search directory there. It said if you're looking for a coach, you can find one through their site, and it will be an ICF accredited coach.
Nice, nice. Okay, so that's great right there. So now I want you to give me a 2 to 3 minute success story from one of your clients. Blow me away.
Blow you away. So I was working with somebody some time ago. It was two people in a work situation that were having some challenges getting along and getting the results that they needed. And their supervisor had contacted me to coach them. And so I worked with these two gentlemen for quite a number of weeks. And when I then met with their supervisor a couple of weeks down the road to ask, so what are you seeing in terms of their relationship now? And he explained to me that he hasn't had to do meetings with them. There's been a sense of calm and peace.
Okay.
And, and which, so a lot of his time was now freed up, right? Because these two folks were now, they got past where they were stuck. They're getting along, they're creating results. And it's really, we didn't just solve the problem, really kind of took the relationship to another level, and they really gained some insights in how to work together to avoid conflicts in the future, as well as how to deal with them when they do arise so they don't blow up with each other.
So you're also a conflict resolution person right now.
Yeah, like marriage counseling at times, but yeah, because that comes up in organizations. I always tell people, if you ever notice, most of the stress you have at work has little to do with the work you're doing and has more to do with the other people around you that you have to do, right?
Yeah.
Because it's all about relationships. Business
That's
is all about relationships, right? So it's really important to recognize that. And sometimes you need to coach two people together to get past a bump that they're having in their ability to work together.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely getting marriage counseling vibes right now. So, but I'm glad you were able to really come up with a great solution to that problem. So,
Yeah. Well, they came up with the solution, which is a really important thing in coaching, though, too. It's not like I come in with a box solution for them, right? It's they came to the conclusions and the solutions themselves through the dialogue. So I just want to give credit to the client.
Okay, all right. So as a coach, are you guiding them? Are you asking them the right questions and kind of put them in this position to question themselves and ask and answer the question according to I guess the mindset and the direction that they need to go? Is that what you're doing as a coach?
Yeah, because it's about helping to challenge the mindset, as well as maybe teaching some specific communication skills that are always helpful in interpersonal relationships, right? So it's a mixture of the two. But generally, the whole philosophy with my coaching is the client has all the answers within them. Any question you have, if you can formulate the question, well, then the answer is in there somewhere. It's just that we don't usually ask ourselves the right questions to make the right answers pop out. My job is to ask the right questions so that you land on the answers and are like, oh, I never saw that before, right? If I just tell it to you and say, you need to accept this as the truth, well, you're not going to buy into it and own it. When you land on it yourself, you buy into it and own it.
A perspective switch.
Yes.
That's what those questions are providing. A guide to a perspective switch.
That's right. That's right. So it's the difference between how do I get from point A to point B, which is usually the question the client comes in asking.
Yeah.
And I might ask questions like, well, what do you think the real reason is for your not being at point B right now? Oh, time and this and that. Okay, let's get underneath that. What's really, really in your way? And it usually ends up coming down to beliefs about themselves or about the world that don't work for them, beliefs that they're not deserving enough, they're not good enough in some way, or some assumptions they make about, but I know how this is going to turn out if I do this because I've been there before. And those
Okay.
are really the things: fear, self-doubt, worry. So we got to
Limited
attack
beliefs.
those things.
Limited beliefs.
Yeah, limiting beliefs. Those are the things that truly stop someone, not the outer things that we think are the things that stop us on the surface. So we get down under that, create that perspective shift, and then the client has all the power.
There you go. That's what makes a great coach right there. A person that has the ability to guide without imposing.
Yes. Yeah. And sometimes it's tough, when I feel like I know the answer and I just want to go, okay, look, here's where it is. Here's what it is. And those are the moments that I know are the most important to hold that back. What are you seeing? What's coming up for you? What do you see in that? How do you relate to X, Y, and Z, right? And let them land on it. And you know what? They might not land on it for another week or two. It's got to be their process. You can't force the butterfly out of the cocoon.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
If you cut the cocoon open to make it easier so the butterfly doesn't struggle, it dies.
It dies.
Right? So it's like, I'm going to watch you struggle because the struggle is part of what you need to build a muscle.
Whew. Drop the mic. Drop the mic. Wow. You can't cut the butterfly out of the cocoon. My first time hearing this analogy. Is this your analogy? Is this something you created?
No, that's out there in the public domain.
Okay. It sounds so profound. That's why I was so curious.
Yeah, I've heard it many times. There's a whole story that's told around it, which is interesting and engaging as well. But that's the basic concept, and we're always, the intention in cutting the cocoon when watching the butterfly struggle is totally out of love. It's like, oh my God, it's struggling. I don't want it to struggle.
Yeah.
But the struggle is exactly what it needs, because forcing itself through that little hole in the cocoon is what forces the fluid out of its swollen body into its wings.
Mm-hmm.
Without that happening, it just withers and dies.
I mean, that makes sense. It's the same thing with a baby, right? You can't force a baby to skip the crawling stage to the walking stage. They have to go through the various stages, right? From crawling on their belly to kind of stumbling and rolling around to finally gain that confidence to get on their feet to take that first step. So
it helps. It builds their confidence. It helps them create a sense of balance, problem solving. And also, if you pick up the baby each time they fall down, instead of saying, come on, get up, and they're crying because they fell down and they want you to pick them up, right? Well, pushing themselves up and struggling to get up is what develops the muscles in their legs so that they can walk. It's like they're doing squats, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they need to do that. If you pick them up every time, okay, they're there. We'll try walking tomorrow. They'll never walk.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. Even with crying, right? Babies have to cry so they can develop their lung muscles in their lungs.
So. Right. And also learn better yet to later on learning other ways to meet their needs, because crying is not always going to meet their needs. And I'm sure people, I know certainly, I do certainly, who seem to not have learned that, right? And it toxifies all of their relationships.
Yes, indeed. Yes, right? Indeed.
They learn all I can do is scream and cry and somebody will come rescue me. It's like, okay, when you're a baby, yeah, but when you're an adult, no. So the baby needs to have some of the experiences where, wow, that doesn't work.
Yeah. I feel like, Mark, I feel like some people have this false built dependency, right? They're so used to doing certain things and having their way that when they are faced with adversity, that's when they fold. You see this every day.
That's right.
Within society. So I'm glad you followed this this belief, and this is what this is like the foundation of your coaching.
Yes. Yeah. Right. The struggle is really what you need. So the struggle is the opportunity to build what you need to build to get to the next place. It's not really an obstacle. What if you look at it as an opportunity? There's all kinds of spiritual concepts out there and religious concepts all over the world that say the same thing about adversity and struggle and whatnot, and how many people do you know who've gone through immensely painful struggles, especially in the last year and a half, who but you know, maybe even longer ago, a cancer diagnosis, a death of a loved one, right? And it was just the bottom for them, the rock bottom for them. And then a couple of years later, on the other side of it, they're able to see, you know, I would never choose to go through that again, but it turns out to be one of the best things that ever happened to me, because here's what I gained.
The lessons.
Yeah, you hear so many people say that. You know, not everybody. And I'm curious as a coach about, you know, why are some people equipped to see that from adversity and some aren't? Is that nature? Is that nurture? Are we, you know, what causes that? Can that be taught? Right.
Interesting.
And I think for some people who are ready for it, it can certainly be taught. And that's where coaching comes in.
Okay. Okay. So, Mark, you seem like a very driven individual. What drives you though? Can you pinpoint the exact thing that drives you as a coach and as a person? What drives you?
You know, it's funny. The first word that no one's really ever asked me that before in that way. So the word that's coming to me that never really came to me in that context before is joy and excitement for life.
Mm.
You know, I tend to have, fortunately, and I'm grateful for this, a pretty happy disposition, in case you can't tell. And, you know, I don't take much of life too seriously, sometimes to my own detriment, and most of the time to my own empowerment. I like to enjoy life. And when I see other people enjoying life, I'm happy. And if I could be a part of their enjoying their life, you know, then I'm even happier. So it's really just about people having what they want so they can be happy and have the joy that they want in their lives. And that's really what motivates me as a coach. You know, they want to be successful. They want to be happy. It doesn't mean that we're happy all the time at every moment of our lives. I'm certainly not, right? Nobody is. But at moments of unhappiness, I also know that happiness still exists in me.
True. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's a great answer. So, Mark, are you currently working on any new projects that you would like to share with us right now?
Sure. So I'm actually, excuse me, just about to start a program. It's funny. I'm doing it with a coach colleague of mine, and we're just about to launch that. And the title of it is skipping me right now because we've thrown a couple of different titles around. So we just finished one called Ignite What's Next, and it sort of jumps off from where Ignite What's Next left off. So if anybody would like to know more about that, they could certainly contact me through my website, and I can give you more information about that. What else? And yeah, that's the next big thing at this point.
Got it. So if someone were to inquire about your services further, right, or just want to connect with you, where can they find you?
They can find my website at markschall.com. That's MarkSchall. Do not leave out the C. You won't find me. Unless you want a real estate broker in Nebraska named Mark S. Hall, that's who you'll find, actually. I learned that when a client paid me by PayPal, but I never received the money because he sent it to Mark S. Hall.
Wow.
In Nebraska. So we had to contact the guy and get the money back, which was all fun. But anyway, so Mark Schall, MarkSchall.com. And if you forget that, my podcast, which is called Mark My Words, you can find at markmywordsthepodcast.com. It takes you to my website as well. Got
it. So Mark, I would like to thank you for coming on today's show. You are vibrant. I love your energy. Your disposition is on cue, right? You are an amazing person, inside and outside. And also, I'd like to thank our audience for lending us your eyeballs and your ears. And last but not least, Mark, how may I serve you?
You just did. This was great.
Okay. Mark, it was definitely an absolute pleasure interviewing you. I feel like I was having a conversation in my living room. And that's how I like having these conversations, right? Has to flow, has to feel authentic. And you brought your true self. And I appreciate you for doing that.
Thank you. Yeah, I saw it in you too. Actually, there was a shift in you from your introductory stuff to when we started talking, your energy was very different, much more in the flow when we were talking. Great.
Yes,
So,
indeed. As a coach, you recognize that.
exactly.
All right. Everyone, take care.